Yesterday, I lost an hour to the same stupid problem. I was coding in a repo, asked Claude for help, and then, because I was moving fast, I started trying 3 experiments in one chat. At first, it felt fine. But by the time I got to the second or third approach, my main context window was basically a junk drawer, logs, partial diffs, half-written thoughts, and a couple of wrong assumptions I'd already tested. So I did the thing I always do. I asked again, and you know what happened? Claude started referring to the wrong branch, or it tried to fix code that I'd already changed 10 minutes ago. The cost wasn't just time, though I'm talking about 45 minutes of wasted back and forth. The real pain was mental. I kept having to re-summarize what I'd already tried. And here's the kicker. I'm not even doing anything fancy. I'm a solo dev. I just want to parallelize my thinking. One agent explores approach A, another agent explores approach B, while my main context stays clean. That's what I'm fixing today. Subagents plus Worktrees so experiments don't contaminate the main run. By the end of this video, you'll have a real CLI workflow where you can do this. Keep your main Claude chat clean, no experiment debris. Use Claude Code's agent tool with subagent_type equals general purpose to parallelize coding work. Automatically isolate each experiment in its own Git work tree, so you don't lose track of what's real. And I'm going to show you actual agent tool, calls you can copy-paste. Here's what changed for me the first time I did this. Instead of one long try, fail, ask again loop, I ran 2 explorations at the same time. In my last session, the time to first working draft dropped from about 60 to 90 minutes down to 25, 35 minutes. Not because the AI got smarter overnight, because I stopped contaminating my own context and I stopped serializing experiments. Also, I saved money. I'm not going to pretend I tracked every token, but I can tell you the pattern. Fewer retries, fewer wait, that file is different now, and less wasted reading of the same code. This is for solo devs who already use Claude Code in the terminal and want a safer, faster way to explore multiple approaches without wrecking their main context window. All right, let's set this up so you can pause and replicate. First, make sure you're running Claude Code in a way that supports the agent tool. If your setup doesn't mention agent, stop here and get that working, because everything we do depends on it. Second, you need Worktrees. So open a terminal and make sure your repo is clean. Git status should show nothing pending. Third, pick a task that's actually parallelizable. For example, in my case, it was add a CLI flag and write tests. I split it into 2 explorations. Agent A, implementation approach. Agent B, test approach. Fourth, decide how many explorations. 2 is a sweet spot. 3 works, but it's easier to confuse yourself when you're merging. Now I'm going to show you the exact commands I run. In one terminal, I create Worktrees. I'll make wt-impl 4 implementation experiments, and wt-tests 4 test experiments. Then I'll run Claude Code agent calls that each operate inside a specific worktree directory. Common mistake, running experiments in the same directory. Don't. That's literally what we're avoiding. One more thing. Keep your main branch untouched until you merge. The whole point is context isolation and file isolation. Cool. Here's the exact workflow I use to isolate experiments. In the repo root, I run git status and confirm I'm clean. Then I check my current branch just to avoid doing something dumb. Now the worktrees. I create 1 for each exploration. I'll do 2 for this example. wt-impl 4 implementation. wt-tests 4 tests. So I run git worktree add wt-impl head and git worktree add wt-test head. If you want to be extra safe, you can create them off a specific commit or off your feature branch. But for solo dev speed, head is fine. Now I want you to notice something. These directories are separate checkouts. So any file edits, new branches, generated artifacts, everything stays inside that worktree. That means even if the AI makes a mess, it's quarantined. Next step, we'll run Claude Code with the agent tool. Important, the agent tool call below is the core of this whole video. We're going to tell Claude Code, use subagent_type equals general purpose. Focus on one goal, operate in a specific work tree, and I'll show you the copy-paste prompts. Before you run them, decide what you're actually building. I'll use a generic example. Add a feature flag and ensure tests pass. You'll swap the details. Let's do implementation exploration first in WT-impl. Now for the part that usually trips people up, refinement. AI will sometimes get 80% right and leave you with one failing test or one missing wiring detail. That's normal. Here's how I handle it without wrecking my main context. I don't chat my way out of failures. loop. 1. Check diffs in the worktree. 2. Run the smallest test command. 3. If it fails, send a targeted follow-up prompt to the same agent, still in the same worktree. So in WT-impl, I do git diff stat so I can see what changed. Then I run npm test or whatever your project uses. If tests fail, I send a second agent call like this. Same subagent type equals general purpose, but now I constrain it to the failure. Copy-paste prompt. Your Claude Code running as an agent. In WT-impl, fix only the failing tests. Failure info. Paste the exact failing test output here. Constraints. Do not change unrelated parts. Keep diffs minimal. Operate only inside WT-impl. Agent tool call. Subagent type equals general purpose. Output format. 1. What caused the failure? 2. The minimal code change. 3. Rerun command you recommend and what you expect to see. Then I repeat the same pattern in WT tests if tests fail there. Once both worktrees are green, then I merge. One honest limitation. Merging worktrees into a single branch can create conflicts if both agents touch the same files, like the CLI entry point. That's why the workflow works best when you split tasks cleanly. If you do get conflicts, resolve them manually. But the good news is you're resolving conflicts between two bounded sets of changes, not between 40 chat attempts. In my last run, I went from I think it should work to a working merge in about 20 to 30 minutes of targeted follow-ups, not an hour of re-explaining everything. So let me show you what we just built in practice. At the start, I had one coding loop in my head and a messy context window. By splitting the work into 2 worktrees and 2 general-purpose subagents, I ended up with WT-impl, a clean implementation diff for dry run. WT tests, a clean set of tests focused on verifying that side effects don't happen. Then when something failed, I didn't rewrite history in my main chat. I just did targeted fixes inside the same quarantined worktree. The transformation numbers for me were simple. First working draft time, 60, 90 minutes down to 25, 35 minutes. Rework caused by AI is using stale context, basically near zero because the files were isolated. The oh no, I lost track of what I tried, feeling mostly gone. It's not magic. You still need to split tasks cleanly, read diffs before merging, and handle occasional merge conflicts. But the workflow is genuinely different because it protects your main context window and your repo structure at the same time. And that's the big win. You're parallelizing exploration without parallelizing confusion. All right, your one next step? Pause this video. 1. Pick a task you can split into 2 parallel tracks. Implementation versus tests is the easiest. 2. Create 2 worktrees like WTA and WTB. 3. Run the first Claude Code agent call with subagent type equals general purpose in WTA. 4. Then immediately run the second agent call in WTB. Don't wait until you're done coding to parallelize. The whole point is to overlap the exploration time. If you want, in the next video I'll show you how I structure a merge checklist prompt so the final integration step is faster and safer. If you found this helpful, smash that subscribe button. I drop new AI tips every week.